In the year 2019, Cabinet resolved that 8 more districts, 8 more municipalities are progressed to city status. Mbale is one of them. There are 8 in number, among others Arua, Lira, Fort Portal, Jinja. And today, we go much more to focus on Mbale City. Want to know what's the relevance of the city status to the residents, to the business community? What is more to celebrate about Mbale? We talk about tourism, we talk about opportunity. And to shed more light on that, today we talk to the mouthpiece of the City Council. His name is James Kutosi. Just Asking Show starts right about now. The name is Ambroz Ney. Welcome to Just Asking Show. The name is Ambroz Ney. Welcome to the show, James.
Nice meeting you. Nice for inviting me to this show. I'm here to take on whatever you want to know about Mbale City.
What is the designation? P.R.O, Mbale City, Mbale Municipal Council.
We no longer have a municipal council, therefore it is city. P.R.O City Council.
Congratulations are in order. First for you being the very first P.R.O in the City Council, and secondly for Mbale and for the whole region as Bugisu Sub-Region or Elgon Zone.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine to serve in this capacity as the first P.R.O of the city and the last P.R.O of the municipality in this region.
When good news comes to your house, you celebrate.
Yeah.
You didn't leave anything behind. You said, let's go out there and celebrate. To start with, you threw a mad tobacco cake. And I must ask, why? Why was it that little a cake? Because it was something big to celebrate.
Yeah, at the time that the cities were announced, we had, we had been long awaiting for them to come. But okay, you'll understand that at the time they announced them, they were a little, some minds were fading away from thinking whether we are going to have it or not. Okay. So it was somehow abrupt, and it was coming at the end of the financial year. So sometimes resources are depleted, and two, we wanted to make it an impact that they disseminate who is going to constitute the interim government. Okay. That was basically why the Minister of Local Government was in here, and it was basically about meeting the people, the councillors that would constitute the first interim government of Mbale City Council. But because of the enthusiasm of the members of the public, okay, a number of them came around, but that was not the designated day for the celebrations of getting a city in Mbale. That was so much below standard for the city, and there is yet another day to come as we get set.
So we wait for another day? Definitely,
we are going to have to. You will notice that even just a day before, Parliament was saying they are not releasing money to the new cities because there is the enabling law is not there. Yes, so even as we have been announced politically that we are a city, technically we have not become operational. Okay. And now you cannot spend any money on behalf of the municipality account, you cannot spend any money on behalf of the city account until you have got an enabling law. And then you cannot expect a city to have a celebration where it is not what? Spending, and it has no source of expenditure.
But you still spend.
So right now from July until the time I'm speaking now, there's never been any expenditure in Mbale City Council or any other city that has been what? Created.
Couldn't the Kapande wait? That's a small Kapande that, I must use the word, embarrassed us.
Yeah, one thing is it could have embarrassed you, yes. But one thing, it had something to call Mbale City, not Mbale Municipal Council.
Okay.
So, what is the essence? Is it in the name or the size of the signpost?
Both. Because, yes, the essence is we have the message out there on the Kapande. It says Mbale City Council.
One thing is, if you go by where that small signpost was placed, it was on a flower island. Okay. In the middle of a road, that you cannot put a bigger signpost than that. And that's the reason why we would not put at the entrances to the city and the exits of the what? Of the city. And we chose strategically to put it in front of Mbale Municipal Council, so that even when you've not put signposts at the entrance and exits, At least somebody who is coming to what they call Mbale State Council can see that and will get directed to the what? To the office. That couldn't be the signpost, the size of a signpost that you intend to put in the what? In the city.
Then why didn't it stand? Because you took it off.
I mean, one thing is, as an organization, we serve on behalf of the public.
Okay.
The public we serve was not happy with that. And then we are only custodians for the people here. When they say no, then you must go by them. Otherwise, you begin behaving like an alien within a community, within your P.R.O.
Okay, speaking of the public, the relevance of the upgrade to city status, for me, as someone who maybe rides the border in this town, for a trader, for someone in the market, what's the relevance of the city? Is it just it's exciting, we stay in a city? What's in there for them?
One, the area of operation, in terms of somebody doing a business and you have a trading license in Mbale city, your license now allows you to do work up to Namanyonyi. It allows you to do work up to Namabasa. It allows you to do work up to Bukasacha. It allows you to do work up to Bungoko, Mutoto, which means the area of operation expands and the level of the payment you make in terms of say trading license gets more benefits than you get in a limited what area. If you are coming in to do some advertising as in a show, you would pay in Mbale Municipal Council, then you go to Nauyo, you pay, you go to Nakaloke, you pay. But now if you are doing an advert, so a road work, a road advertisement, you will cover a bigger area because the boundaries have been not expanded. Then to the working class like us, definitely I was at a certain level as a worker, but now with the city, it comes up, it elevates me in another room. Then it expands the department that calls in for more people to be employed in a department where I had been employed what? Alone. And that does not happen to my department alone, to others. Therefore, there is a trickle-down level of employment opportunities to some people. In terms of doing business, in terms of positioning and lobbying for partners, as a city, you have much more capacity than a municipality can have.
Do you find, would you comfortably or authoritatively tell someone out there that Mbale is conducive for investment, someone bringing their money from wherever they are bringing the money from, with, I can give you a host of businesses that have closed down just in the recent past. Would you authoritatively say, come, bring money, bring your US dollars and put them in this city?
One thing is any business person will have to do a visibility study. And one thing is Mbale is I will encourage any person to invest in Mbale. Because Mbale, one, it lies on the highway. It is a regional business hub. You can connect from here to Malaba, you can connect from here to Ruakaka, you can connect here from here to Soroti, you can connect to Palisa. All these are just a 1 hour journey to make across. So anybody who invests in here, be sure that you are going to get people to buy what? Your goods. The onions, the whatever in Mbale are supplied as far as southern what? Sudan. Lila gets these supplies from here. Kenya, Malaba, Ruakaka, they get most of their supplies through here. Bogoya and other things. So one thing is any business person who takes a visibility study. For example, if somebody came and invested in, say, in an industry of biscuits, do you know how many trucks of Bogoya leave Uganda to go to Kenya? Do you know how much maize leaves here to go to Supreme in Kampala? Because we are not doing that. So if you located your industry here, dealing in those products, you will get raw materials just from within the vicinity. And therefore, I would encourage anybody to invest in Mbale.
Okay, before we take our first break, one thing that stands out, especially for the city, for Mbale, is the clock tower. I have two questions on that. One, I'm told the Queen's clock was operational. A couple of years ago, ebyuma byabbibwa. People within the system, within the council. How true is that?
One, I cannot say that is true because we preside over a council that protects the property of the public, and if there is anybody who steals and the real somebody is aware so and so stall. I mean, we have all the enforcement agencies here. We have the police, we have IGG, we have what? Abuse of office and other things can be staked against a person. But one thing is, I know the bells in there were stolen, but whoever stole them, that one I can't for you tell.
They were stolen, but you don't know who did.
Yeah.
So as custodians, now for me, who do I ask? Because we want them in there. They should be there really.
Yeah, it is one thing that has to be addressed. But one thing is that you could have so many wishes of the things you would wish to do. But one thing, everything you do is based on the amount of finances that you have.
Okay.
You'll bear witness with me that in the recent past, most of the revenue sources of the council, of urban councils, have dwindled because of different reasons, among them political pronouncements.
Okay, still, I thought I would ask two questions about the clock tower. The second one is, when you go to a place, there's a landmark that is synonymous or that identifies a place. When you go to the west, when you go to Port Poto, there is a sculpture of a lion. When you go to Mbale, there is a sculpture of a cow. It's called Lutsina. What do we plan to have for Mbale, or what do we actually have?
Yeah, as of now, there's nothing. But for purposes of tourism, if we are to think like something that is high in proposal, is to have a sculpture of a boy getting circumcised, placed at the clock tower.
So is that in plan? Or?
It is in plan.
So we expect sometime soon. Okay. The name is Ambroz Ney. We talk to the mouthpiece for Mbale City Council. The name is James Kutosi. The name is Ambroz Ney. Myself, we are doing the Just Asking show. We take a break. We get back with more talk. Back from the break. It's the Just Asking show. The name is Ambroz Ney. Follow us on social media. Go to Facebook, Just Asking is the page. Go to YouTube, Just Asking is the channel. Subscribe and make sure you keep looking out for our weekly uploads. Plus, you can pass by Twitter. The handle is at Just Asking 209. The name is Ambroz Ney. Today we talk to the mouthpiece, Mbale City Council. His name is James Kutosi. About Mbale City. Welcome back from the break, James.
Thanks.
Garbage management, we have flatly failed.
One, to say that we are in any better situation, I would be deceiving myself and the public. Garbage management is one of the biggest challenges Mbale City Council is having been inherited from Mbale Municipal Council.
So it's an inherited problem.
It is an inherited problem.
Okay.
And one thing is, I want to tell you that it is not something that I'm going to tell you that we are getting rid of it tomorrow or the other day. It is some problem that we are going to have for some bit of time. Because one thing is, we generate about 10 tons of garbage every day.
10 tons? Every single day?
Every single day. But the capacity of what can be removed is up to 2 tons. So you get to know that there is a deficit of about 8 tons on daily basis. And given you have seen the number of trucks that we have in town, one thing is, it is not something that I can tell you that we are going to solve tomorrow or the other day. Until we acquire a number of trucks, until we transform our dump sites, in transforming the manure and generating other activities. But maybe the good news is we have now secured a Swedish firm that is coming in to use the garbage as a raw material for generating power.
That is all the garbage, plastic, or just
and the capacity we have now shall be below the capacity that will be required. The power generated shall be contributed to the national grid, but first of all, it will be serving Mbale. That one we are looking at cutting off issues of power cuts in Mbale, and the surplus shall be given to the national grid and sold for money for the city.
When is that?
But one day the investor is already on ground. They are setting up a few things. So one thing I can say is we can give it a while. That is the biggest ray of hope that we're having. But without any external forces, it would be a nightmare to think that we are going to solve it.
You realize you didn't give me a time frame. So in the meantime, do we get private actors? Does everyone deal with their garbage on their own?
We already have some private actors,
yes.
But one thing is the general public is also a bigger is also part of the what? The problem. Indiscriminate disposal. You know that the enforcement we have cannot go watching over each and every other what? Individual. It also calls for personal responsibility if we are to make this city better for all of us. So what we are trying to do is we have private actors like Ecopic.
Yes. We
have other entities that have come in, but they also don't have that capacity of trucks and other things to ferry the garbage on time. And these private actors, based on people who are willing to pay in some money to them to do the work. But our people, the locals, are not willing to do what? To do the payment. But if you've lived in another town like you are in Kampala, everybody is responsible for the disposal of his own garbage by dealing with private what? Actors. Yes. It is a new component in Mbale. We pray that with the time and the sensitization, it is going to catch up. But I see us going through this financial year still struggling. But by the time we get to next financial year, I want to believe that the other Swedish farms shall have started generation and they will be demanding more garbage than we can generate.
Okay, we will watch the space. Speaking of financial year, we understand recently Parliament halted funding of these new cities. Do we say, are we still city operational? Are we still municipality operational? What happens? Do we just stick around and see what happens?
You notice that before KCCA, we had only one city in Uganda, which was Kampala City.
Yes.
And now with the coming in with the KCCA Act, it meant that there was no another enabling law for any other what? Another city. Yes. It meant that that law collapsed. So initiating new cities without an enabling law is a problem. It was a political requirement. They granted the cities, yes. But to go to the technicalities, it is very important that one, we don't have an approved staff structure for the city as I speak. And you know, when you are going to ask for money from Parliament, they must know how many people they are going to what? To pay. Yes. So for the Parliament to delay that, certain things should be put right. As a technical officer, that was the right direction that we should take. We are better off delaying for about one month than hurrying and doing the wrong what? The wrong thing and operate cities that are not premised on a proper legal framework.
Okay, James, let's talk about roads. When you use Republic Street, when you use Bugisu Hill, Nabuyonga Rise, you will fall in love with the city. We have our secrets. Naboa, the Cathedral Road, yes, very terrible potholes.
One thing I want to tell you that we are behind schedule on Naboa Road and Cathedral Avenue by 8 months now.
8 months?
Yeah. The contract should have started by now. It could be at ceiling level of the roads. But we have got hindrances in the procurement process. The council advertised, we secured a contractor, but one of the people who participated, the companies who participated, asked for an administrative review. They were not satisfied with the process. Then that procurement was cancelled. Then the ministry under the Youth Mid project took over to do the procurement. They re-advertised. They also secured another farm. But one of the farms that was procured was Dot Services. To anybody who stays in Mbale and applies the Tirinyi Iganga, Mbale Tirinyi Road, will know that there is nobody in this region who can be comfortable with the Dot Services doing work within the city. So a number of residents from Mbale complained that they don't want Dot Services to do the work. So right now we are in the ministry is in for another administrative review to see which company should come to Mbale. But the funds for doing the Naboa Road and the Cathedral Avenue, they are already available. They were in right from last financial year. Before even entered the city, those works should should have started.
So that takes away your words on Open Gate FM sometime last year when you said by July 2019 would be done. So
Yeah, I mean, I've told you that we are behind schedule by about 8 months. So therefore, that inevitably takes away my earlier what? My earlier statement. Okay. I made the statement without unforeseen circumstances like delays in the procurement process.
Still about procurement, especially in getting contractors in the bidding process.
Yeah.
The issue of kickback, we either get shoddy work or we get delays because people on the committees, on the contracts committees are saying, where's my cut? Where's my share of the cake?
From an organizational point of view, I'll tell you that we are guided by the Anti-Corruption Act.
Okay.
And the giver of a bribe and the receiver of a bribe, they're equally culpable in this. And everybody who works in Uganda knows that you are not allowed to take what? Bribes. But it is very difficult, even to me as a spokesperson of a council, who is not sitting in an evaluation committee, who is not guarding the contractor, to say that there will not be exchange of what? Of handouts. It is both in the interest of the contractor and those ones who are what? Who are evaluating. But one thing is, I don't want to be quoted so badly on this, but one thing is corruption is something that is so much into all organizations, right from the first office in the country to the last office in this what? In this country. It is something that we must all approach as society if we are to rule it out. But if you are going to get a section of Mbale City Council, Municipal Council, that these people are corrupt, they are just a symptom of a bigger problem.
That doesn't exonerate the problem. By the way, when you said from the first office, I felt like you had shot some shots. Anyhow, so see about you spoke from an organizational point of view.
Yeah.
How about from the public court's point of view?
Do you know the people who give bribes? Do you know the people who give the bribes are members of the public who condemn corruption?
So do we wish there was a way we could be immunized or vaccinated? Like it's a deeper problem than the council.
But I think the vaccine for corruption in Uganda could be harder to get than that of corona.
Oh, that's a big statement.
Yeah. So I mean, I won't tell you that corruption is in as a cancer. We must begin fighting it from family level to society level to community level to country level. Okay. It all begins to right now we are in an election period. You know what is happening? Is there is no member of parliament, there is no councillor who will go to address people and they are not asked for something. And the seeds of corruption are sown at that level.
Okay, away from corruption, infrastructure. When you go around our city, you realize that, I must say, most of the buildings that we have are what was left by the Indians and maybe the Arabs. What plan is there? Because one thing we have done best here is we either refurbish, we either renovate or create space where there is no space. Does the city council have a plan?
One thing is, as a city council, we can only come in with the regulations. And maybe give timelines that on Republic Street in the next 5 years, we should have buildings like this. That is where we are moving. But I won't tell you that we are in a liberalized and a capitalist what? Economy. And one investment. When you look at the Land Act, it tells you land belongs to the people and their properties. And as a council, we are only supposed to regulate people from within their properties. You do not have capacity to come and tell somebody break down this thing and raise up another when he has a running lease on that. There are a number of things, like we talked about corruption, a number of things. We have had buildings that were supposed to be condemned, but their leases are what? Are extended. That again goes to the era of what? Of corruption. You know this is the right thing to do, but one thing is you end up bribing your way out, and you have a lease what? Extended. But one thing is the new Physical Planning Act 2020 is bringing new ideas, that the owners of properties are responsible for them, and then we are supposed to regulate. Otherwise, in the past law was talking of enforcement, but they were now supposed to regulate by the owners taking responsibility. But one thing we are looking at in the midterm is, as a bylaw, as a council, we are not now approving any building plan for a building on Republic Street, Naboa Road, if it is not going to be a 4-story and what? And above.
Effective?
It has started.
That's started already. We take another break. When we get back, we shall start off tourism, James. The name is Ambroz Ney. It's a Just Asking show. Today we talk to the mouthpiece, Mbale City Council. The name is James Kutosi. My name is Ambroz Ney. We take a break. We get back shortly. It's a Just Asking show. The name is Ambroz Ney. Today we talk to James Kutosi, the P.R.O, or the mouthpiece for Mbale City Council. So James, one last session of the show. Let's talk about tourism. Like I told before, we took a break. You a bit hinted on a boy being circumcised, being our identity landmark. When do we have that?
We are into now the planning session. All these things, like I told you, they need planning and we need finances. But two, in doing that, we are going to need more of cooperation with a number of even private actors. For example, we have spoken to Sale of Casa and CP Lodge. He's so much into tourism into our region, and we are supposed to get some ideas from them because they're in touch with the tourists. What would they love to do? So we are looking at holding up some meeting of some stakeholders, the key actors in the tourism sector. We have proposed clock tower, but we as people who are into the field, they could also have other ideas of how best we can make this work. We are also looking at Mbale being the Arabica coffee town. We need to have most of our flower islands having some coffee trees within them to symbolize that this is the home of coffee.
The flower islands, like maybe Republic?
Like Republic Street, like these areas in Nkoko, Njeru, all these gardens. Somebody must be able to move and see a coffee plant to signify that this is where coffee comes and the best of it in the whole world.
Okay. Lastly but not least, strategic plan as a city council. Where do we see ourselves as city, Mbale City? Where do we see ourselves in 5, 10, 20, 25 years? What plan do we have?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you that we have developed that strategic plan right now, but one thing is there are key areas of tourism. There are areas of trade expansion. We are trying to look at Mbale more of a tourism city because there are so many sites that you can be in Mbale and go to. So I want to say that in about 2-3 years, one of the number of tourists coming to this region goes high. But this is going to be through public-private partnerships with key tourism players in this area.
Is that running already? Private partnerships with you?
Yeah, we are engaging with some of a number of people, others at personal level, others at organizational level. But organizational level has not grown so much, because we have not signed the memorandum of understanding with a number of them. But I think this is the period that we are going to enforce more of signing memorandum of understanding with a number of key players to see which part we play and which part they play. We must provide an enabling environment for them to operate and do. One thing is, as a council, there are times we have gone outway. We focused much on generating revenue. And I forgot that one of the roles we are supposed to play is provide an enabling environment to our key private partners. And to that one, I would say we are sorry as an organization, but it's something that we are tending to address in terms of our rebranding to become a different organization from what we have been known for.
Okay, we'll come back to you. We'll keep doing the M&E on you. We shall appoint ourselves, the inspectorate, and come and see it. But we wish you the very best. We hope it turns out good. We hope this place becomes so enabling for business and it becomes so conducive for everyone, for everyone to gain from it, and for us not to keep coming and asking you the hard questions, because where there is dirt, we need to clean.
Yeah, one thing is, thank you so much for this, and I'm intending that beginning the next quarter, when finances are released, I think we should be having, if it is not a monthly, then we are going to be having a quarterly press brief from the council, so that the people are kept up in the know of what we are planning.
Ah, that's a good one.
Thank you for hosting me, and thank you for the opportunity that you've given me to share with you.
Pleasure is all mine. That's it. We spoke to the P.R.O. Mbale City Council, James Kutosi, about Mbale City. We hope some of the plans come to pass and wish them the very best. From me, Ambroz Ney, and the Just Asking team, thank you for giving us your time. We do this some other time. Casa del Twister, we appreciate the space. Come by sometime and have some good coffee. We see you some other time. Bye-bye. Cheers.